Hi, this is Brian with Project Maestro, where we put AI to the test. Today, we're going to kick off the project by creating a Substack newsletter. You'll find the link at the end of this video. The tech we're using for today will be for ideation and prompt generation, Claude AI, ChatGPT, Bard, Copilot, and Grok. And for image generation, we use Copilot, Microsoft Designer, DALL-E 2, and Stable Diffusion Turbo. A quick overview of the prompts that I was using as a starter. I want you to act as a sales and marketing guru. I will ask you for a question. You will provide an answer and explain how you arrived at the solution. For the newsletter logo, I also added, give me ideas for a branded logo for a Substack newsletter about using AI to design and develop a consumer application. These were the theme words that the AI came back with. A lot of similar palette and color, nods to different design elements, and then some general ideas about overall theme. So how did the AI fare at theme creation? At the top of the list, we have Bard, which is an A+. It gave us the most examples and bullet points and various other useful things and hints. ChatGPT and Copilot did all right. They both earned an A. Claude AI did okay. I'd give it a B+. And to be honest, the responses that came out from Grok were pretty basic and were not that helpful. So I ended up giving it a B-. For image generation, I started with a different prompt that said, I want you to act as an expert machine learning model trainer, and I want you to provide a description of the object, person, or idea. You'll provide an efficient and optimized AI prompt to generate the image. The reason I did this is because optimization of the prompt has a lot to do with the output that you get and the number of times it takes to try to get to something that looks decent. So the actual prompt optimization is for, in less than 77 tokens, describe a stable diffusion prompt. This can be swapped out for any other type of prompt, but I found this one works generally pretty well for me. So in the game of prompt optimization, Copilot came out ahead of the rest. Bard and ChatGPT did okay. Claude, which I actually use for a lot of personal projects, came in at a B+. And Grok, well, it really disappointed. It came in with an F because it regurgitated what I gave it and was literally no help at all. So the ultimate image generation prompt that I came up with was the following. Use tech-inspired blues and greens along with vibrant, creative colors like oranges, reds, and purples. A minimalist, abstract representation of a friendly AI bot character holding conductor's baton. Use sleek lines and edges to convey precision and innovation. So, how did we fare with the image generation? Right off the bat, Copilot nailed it. Not only did it take the prompt, but it also generated 4 images, including the one that you're looking at now. So this is exactly what I asked for, a friendly robot with a conductor's baton. Next up, we'll see what DALL-E and Stable came up with. So DALL-E 2, it gave it a try, and it came away with what I would describe as an abstract watercolor. It kind of looks like a robot, but yeah, I can't use this. Stable Diffusion, it gave me a little bit more of something that looked like a robot, but I don't know, either that's a bazooka or a bullhorn. Not really friendly, not what I would expect from a icon that I'm going to use for my newsletter. So yeah, not so great. And then Microsoft Designer kind of took what Copilot designed and went to the next level. Microsoft Designer is an animation and editing tool, and it offered to animate the icon for me, and then I actually just put the text on top of it. Ultimately came away with an animated logo that I, in fact, used for this video. So when we think about image generation, what's the report card? Microsoft Designer obviously is an A+. For business type of graphics, it did a really great job. Copilot, again, a solid A. It generated images that we could have used in slide deck or emails or something like that. And then Stable Diffusion, I gave it a B. DALL-E a B-. not really usable. Most of their designs are pretty busy and it's kind of crowded. And I specifically asked for an icon and it gave me a full image. So not really a strong suit of either Stable Diffusion or DALL-E. Next up, we worked on the newsletter word mark. For this, I described a prompt for the aesthetics of a styled image that I wanted for Project Maestro. And I gave it kind of an idea of the topic, which was about using AI to design and develop consumer applications. Theme creation, again, ChatGPT, Copilot, Claude, all got a solid A. They gave me some examples only after I tweaked the prompt. None of the models really understood what a word mark was, and so I had to reframe my request in the prompt that we just saw. And they generally gave me some pretty good ideas for fonts and just the way that the text should look, general stuff like that. Bard really didn't understand even with the refactored prompt. So I gave it a C+, and Grok kind of very similar. It just sort of regurgitated what I gave it. So then the next step is I went through and I tried to optimize the prompt. Again, Copilot knocked it out of the park. Claude, ChatGPT, and Bard, they really just kind of moved some stuff around, maybe cut the words down to get it to the 77 tokens. And Grok completely fell on its face and just spit the words literally right back at me. So again, an F. So this is what DALL-E came up with. Again, I'm not unhappy with this, but there's some serious problems with it. DALL-E 2 struggles with text, as you can see. Although I might seriously consider changing the project name to Project Maestro. I don't know. But I really like the look of everything and how it's laid out. It incorporated the colors pretty well. So not terrible, but again, not something I could use without putting some pretty heavy edits on it. Stable Diffusion, on the other hand, it kind of went the demotivational poster route, and it gave me something that kind of looks like a bowl of salad with orange slices. I'm not really sure what to make of this. It's definitely given off early 2000s office poster vibes. I think that Stable probably would have produced better results with better negative prompting, or LoRa's, which are very important with Stable Diffusion. But again, working from speed here, just working with the raw prompts, trying to keep things kind of equal. Stable Diffusion, not so great. And then we have Microsoft Designer. Designer did a really good job. And one of the things I like about Designer is if you can limit or not even try to put text into your design, you can easily add text in the image editor, which is exactly what I did. And I used the fonts that the AI had suggested. And then put in my own little taglines. And in fact, it actually did generate the text to start off with, and I was able to go in and just easily edit it, which again was another plus for Microsoft Designer. So, the report card for image generation. Microsoft Designer, solid A, something you could probably use right out of the box. Copilot, I gave it a B- because I did, again, have to edit the text. I would have had to make minor edits to the Copilot output, which again, not the end of the world, but something you can do. DALL-E 2, I gave it a C because with the right tool, image editor, you could probably go and clean up one of those designs. And honestly, they were a little bit more out of the box. I think that the visual design of what Copilot came up with was pretty basic, and it kind of looked like a stock photo from a PowerPoint slide. DALL-E was a little more creative, but again, it totally just messed up the words, so you'd have to still do some work there. And then Stable Diffusion, I gave it an F because I don't want a bowl of salad as my word mark. Moving on, let's wrap things up here with the overall leaderboard for ideation. So I'm going to put Copilot as a solid A+. It really gave me things that I could use, particularly like in a business setting, or if I'm trying to produce, website or, in this case, a newsletter. ChatGPT, again, not surprising that's an A because Copilot is built on top of ChatGPT. Bard was a B. Bard did all right. It held its own. I'm interested to see kind of with some of the upgrades with Gemini, maybe retest it and see kind of if it moves up a little bit. Claude, I would have to give it a C. It was an early leader, probably 3 to 6 months ago as I was doing similar tests on my own, but it's clearly lacking now in what some of the more updated models can do. And then Grok absolutely fell on its face. It flunked. And to be honest, I can't believe I pay the small fee to X to use it. It's really not designed for this type of work. It probably is better of a tool at consuming the data that Twitter has. But when it comes to things like trying to ideate on things and referencing current materials and things like that, it's not good at that at all. So again, gets an F in this one. It doesn't mean that Grok is completely going to get thrown out and that Copilot's going to be able to do everything great, but it's just kind of in this one exercise kind of where we ended up. And then moving on to the overall leaderboard for image generation, I think the combination of Copilot and Designer is an A+ combination. Between the two of those, you're going to be able to get a lot of stuff done. You can crank out a lot of images pretty quick, and it's going to look decent. DALL-E and any other of the prompt generations, DALL-E 2 is a C. I wouldn't probably use it. It's really just going to create a little bit of extra work for you. And then Stable Diffusion in this exercise is an absolute F. Stable Diffusion, in my experience, is really good with people and scenery and things like that. It does not seem to excel at this type of graphics creation. So again, it gets an F in this experiment. Maybe down the line, with a little tweaking, it might perform a little better. But for this one exercise, it's not great. I will caveat all of this by saying that under no circumstances would I put these AI-generated images in front of a client or an investor or anything like that. As good as Copilot and Designer are, they're great for placeholders and early versions of things, but you can still tell that they're AI-generated. And it just, in my opinion, doesn't look professional. So again, it's good for ideate and it's good for getting some stuff out there for some rapid prototyping, but honestly, not something that I'm going to just try to go to market with. And then I just want to also caveat by saying this is not a Microsoft commercial. Microsoft did okay. It did the best of all of these tools in this particular case. Again, new models are being released, new stuff's coming out. It's not something that I'm going to say, hey, Microsoft's going to do everything for you. I do think that the Office 365 integration with OpenAI is promising, and I think that long-term it's got a lot of legs. And in fact, I know now, since I created this slide, you can actually opt for the more advanced version of the Copilot integration. I have not done that. I actually have access through that through my professional work. So I've enough experience with that to know that it really is not going to be a game changer for this type of project. But again, something that's out there now if you really want to try it. And then I just want to wrap this video up by saying if you want to stay up to date with all of the new stuff that's coming out, with all the different tests that I'm running, go and check me out over at Project Maestro. Substack.com is the official newsletter. You'll get all the latest stuff when it comes out. Again, we're going to work through some basic first principles on our app that we're going to work on. We're going to start planning and designing architecture, and then hopefully shortly after that we'll get into some code generation, which should be pretty awesome. And that's something that I know that a lot of developers out there probably want to see is net new greenfield code coming out of AI. What's it going to look like? How's it going to work? How much time is it going to save me? So a lot of good things planned. Again, this is sort of a side project, so subscribe to the Substack and you'll get the new stuff when it comes out. I can't say that we're going to be publishing these videos every week. It's probably more like once a month. But just stay in touch with us, and we appreciate you watching the video.